everybody. It's your girl, Pajama, with Pajama Life. And we're getting ready with a spooky time this week. We're gonna watch Renfield and the lessons in chemistry, not so spooky, but a really interesting time hopping Loki. And I couldn't do it without my buddies next to me. Bang! These two right here. Let's start with David. Say hello to the people.
Hey, everybody. Hope you're getting ready for Halloween, getting ready to know what kind of treats you want, what kind of tricks you're going to pull, and which shows we talk about did you think were the best and the worst.
And there we go with the superstar of all things Marvel and Tolkien. Say hey to the people, Patrick.
Hey, everybody. Got some good stuff to talk about this week. I'm kind of excited.
All right. Well, let's start off with a self-help for vampire assistants. Let's take a look at Renfield. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Robert Montague Renfield, and just like all these decent folks, I'm in a destructive relationship.
You're feeding it trash!
I'm sorry, Master.
This one doesn't even have a head!
Oh, no, he did have
I
a...
love that
I
line.
don't ask for much, Renfield. Just the blood of a few dozen innocent people.
I'm sorry, Master.
You realized you're codependent.
I need to change it. I can see that I need to change it. I want to, but my boss, he's pretty delusional, I think. He thinks he can take over the world.
He's a narcissist, Renfield.
We need to find a bug, now!
That's some biscuit fly. Please, tell me all about your problems.
Okay, let me start off with Patrick. What did you think of Renfield?
This is, the thing is, I'd watch Nicholas Hoult probably in a car commercial. And the same thing for Nicolas Cage. Both those guys were amazing. And you put Awkwafina in there, who's in everything these days, it feels like. And she makes everything better. She's like garlic, Garlic by itself, not that great. You put garlic in almost anything, or butter. Let's just go butter. She's butter.
Butter.
Put butter in everything is better. I'm just saying, she ups the level on everything. Just her delivery is always so good. And Nicolas Cage is doing what Nicolas Cage does best: over the top, ridiculous. And that's what that's his brand. I mean, he's ever been doing that since his first movies. I mean, I can't think of a movie where he wasn't over the top, not ridiculous and Leaving Las Vegas, obviously, but everything else was just, and even that was over the top, but it was over the top, bad, sad, oh my God. But everything great. Just, I really enjoyed this a lot. I watched it a second time, even though I'd seen it in the movie theater when it was out in the theaters. I rewatched it for the show this week, and I remember why I loved it so much. It's good fun.
David, what did you think?
I think this is a fantastic movie. It's got a lot of things in it that you like. It's perfect for Halloween. It came out back, I think, in March or April. It's one of those left or right of center Halloween horror movies that I love. This movie and Shadow of the Vampire with Willem Dafoe, which is a movie about the legendary Dracula. This was brilliant. Holt's great. Nicolas Cage is great. Awkwafina. I'm not even going to make fun of her name and call her Dasani or whatever that great water is from the Mountain Valley. I'm not even going to call her that. She was fantastic in this role. I love that they were in New Orleans, kind of going to the Vampire Diary books, little nod there. The best part of this movie, and it showed its brilliance, its intelligence in the early stages when we're meeting Renfield. It is shot, and it looks so much like the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. I mean, there was brilliance to this movie. It was a funny movie, and it was an uplifting, positive movie. Big wins for me. This was just fantastic.
I don't know about positive. I
He
thought
got
it
better.
was an interesting take on and a send up of kind of self-help culture too. And that Renfield is going to a group therapy on codependence. That's kind of a really interesting
Oh, that was great.
That was
I mean,
perfect.
it was an interesting premise too. I was like, first time I saw it, I was like, no. And then I said, okay, I have to watch it again to give it a fair shake for the. So it did grow on me. It's just the over the top gore and killings were just ridiculous,
I
and
loved
it looked like they used tomato soup for the blood.
Don't ruin the magic, Pam. Don't ruin the magic.
Yeah.
It was hilarious though, because some of it, of course, my squeamish self was like, "Oh, yuck, that's gross." A couple of the things were super gross. And Shorey Ashtalu, I think, who played the head of the crime family, and she
Oh,
was
yeah.
great. She's got that super raspy, deep
Yep.
voice, and she's been in some things like The Expanse.
The Expanse,
and
right? Yeah.
I first saw her on 24 back in the day, and she was awesome in that. And so I was grateful for her character. The what was his name? Was it Tony, Little Tony, or whatever? The bad guy. He was kind of ridiculous.
John Ralphio. That's what I always
Yeah.
call him, because that's where I know him from Parks and Rec, and he's played the same character, just a terrible person.
Oh, okay.
It was the
He
same
was
thing,
awesome.
just a little bit more violent. Yes, but
Yeah, this was, and
terrible.
it was funny
Oh,
as you got into it. So I definitely had a good time with it. I'm always down for, as you can see, my What We Do in the Shadows reference t-shirt on vampire comedies. So and good on Nicolas Cage for, at this stage in his career, just kind of having fun with stuff. So and Nicholas Holt, seeing him from About a Boy until now, it's just really great to see him doing some really interesting, great work. So definitely for a good time. This one is really violent and gory, so I don't think it's for the kids.
the
I didn't
violence.
call it violence.
The thing is, the violence and the gore was farce.
It was
wasn't.
I know, but that could be scary for some kids. So I don't think that it's appropriate. But parents.
Well, they didn't grow up with Tom and Jerry like you and I did, where they just beat
right.
the heck out of
I
each other
mean,
with hammers. Just saying.
Kids
had
watch
different-
the movie. Kids watch the movie. It's just fun. You heard it from
No.
Pam. It's tomato paste. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
No,
think
it's
so.
gross.
Fine. Forget
I'm
about
gonna
it.
have bad dreams tonight after watching it.
Forget about it. What's the
So
matter? Forget about it.
definitely, but for adults and teenagers, you'll have fun. Take a look at Renfield. And next up, we have a really interesting, based on a book from Bonnie Garmus, Lessons in Chemistry. Let's take a peek.
We're live in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, viewers. My name is Elizabeth Zotz. Let's get started, shall we?
Setting aside the fact that you're using lab equipment without proper supervision of a chemist.
I am a chemist. I was top of my class.
Ms. Zott,
And I believe the work will speak for itself.
You are just not smart enough.
99% of the human body is made up of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, calcium, phosphorus, with a few ions thrown in. That is what I'm trying to uncover.
Like biogenesis.
You're interested in it.
Keeps me up at night.
In science, you endeavor to control every variable of your experiment. Sometimes, many times, things just turn out messy.
David, what did you think?
Rarely do you see an actor and a role come together, I think, as beautifully as this. I really applaud Brie Larson in this. I wasn't familiar with the book, but certainly makes you want to watch it, read it. Powerful. I thought it was a wonderful story. She does a superb job in this, and really just brings her talents to the forefront. The a lot should be said about the costume design.
Mhm.
And while she's playing scientist Elizabeth Zott in this, every bit, man, if you want to do a Grace Kelly or like redo Rear Window and have her be Grace Kelly or something,
No.
she could do it. Really impressive, thoughtful story. Big kudos for this one.
Hey, Patrick, what'd you think?
Yeah, I really like this. And I would also, but I'd like to roll back something Dave just said. Studios, if you're watching this, don't remake remake Rear Window. Make new movies. Quit remaking crap, please. Make something new like this. This was delightful. It seems like it was almost a role made for Brie Larson for based on other things she's done. She's always had a kind of a fish out of water, cold fish type of feel to a lot of the stuff she's done. Captain Marvel, she was always just kind of snarky and a little bit out of the club. Go back to Scott Pilgrim. She was Destiny, and she was very, kind of above everything type. She had that kind of a feel, and this feels like she's doing that again, but at a much higher level. The source material, I haven't read the source material, but I was really disappointed in the fact that it was only 3 episodes. I wanted to keep watching this. I wanted to binge through this like I do things. This every week stuff makes me wonder how I survived in the 80s and 90s. I want to sit and watch it and get through it. I don't read a book, one chapter, then sit around for 2 days and come back, or a week, and come back and read the next chapter. I read the book. And that's kind of what I want to do with these series when they're really good, like this one was. I want to start it and go all the way through it. I want to consume the entire confection. I don't want to just nibble on it for 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months or however long it's going to go. I really, really did enjoy this a lot. It was delightful.
Yeah, I agree. I have read the book, and so there are some differences, and I'll talk about that on my book review of the book and the TV show. But I'm not sure if Brie Larson embodies the role the way if you read the book you'd understand. But because I was like, oh, you know what I love to see back in the day is Sharon Stone in this role. And because I think it takes someone who has that touch of villainy in it. I don't know. Brie Larson came off kind of wooden to me in it. And that's something that I always am like, kind of like, don't like about her acting. I think her most powerful role was in Room, which was based on another book. But I don't know. But I enjoy the story. I've been waiting since I read the book to see how they would do the treatment of it. And there's some differences that they take, particularly with the Harriet Sloane character and that storyline. And I was glad to see I was curious what kind of dog they would use for the 630 character. And I love that they have I think it's a standard poodle or a golden doodle, or I don't know, these crazy dogs. A doodle.
Yeah. Which is a little bit out of step.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had those dogs.
Yeah, it was kind of out of that particular time period.
I was kind of like, but I do love that because the dog has a big part of the book. And so I was hoping when I didn't see it, those first couple of episodes, I was like, where's 630 at? So they do take some liberties. But you might get that. It's shot beautifully. Yeah, I mean, gorgeous. Every frame is just so gorgeous. So I'm really interested to see where they're going to go. This is where Pat and I have a difference. I do want to each week have some anticipation of seeing what's going to happen next. I have something to look forward to each week, and then I'm sad when it's all over. So I really enjoy the weekly drops of the show, and I think it's probably about 6, maybe 8 episodes. So I want to see definitely, which is a mark of a great story, where it's going to go and how they're going to differ from the book. So definitely come back and check out my book review and comparison with the TV show. Here I'll have it out in the next few days. And check out, definitely, I think all of us agree that Lessons in Chemistry is definitely something on Apple Plus you want to check out. Okay. Next up is a steampunk episode with I don't know what's going on with this show. With Loki. Let's take a look.
Guys, I got a hit on Renslayer's temp pad.
What took you so long? What am I doing here? You told me I was going somewhere important.
It's him. He remains.
Is this apparition your helper?
No. I am a fully conscious and sentient artificial intelligence entity, and I have a name. Miss Minutes.
Excusez-moi, Mademoiselle Minutes.
Come on, just between us. What do you want to do? Without his help, the TVA will be destroyed.
Good. Let it burn. I'm the one in charge. Are we clear?
I want to go first. I want to go first. Boo. What have they done to Miss Minutes? I just thought this is when I'm like, this jumped the shark for me at this point. I just was like, no, that was dumb how they did. I said, is this Disney interfering and making it stupid? That just ruined it for me. But I do like the connection that Loki and Mobius have. I think that's funny. I think it was kind of weird, Jonathan Majors' choices in his acting. It was just kind of bizarre and strange to me. His mannerisms and his voice and just how he was. I don't know. It was just very strange. And Sylvie, why can't she get hit with the stick and disappear? That's what I'm waiting for at this point. I wanted to really enjoy the episode, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't connect with it. So it's a no for me. David, what'd you think?
Okay, well, I'm going to put the hard hat on here. Things
Aye.
might start to fly between the two of you. That conversation, you don't know. So let's put on this. I like the steampunk aspect of it. We wondered if we would see Jonathan Majors here with everything, but obviously things were filmed before things kind of got a little problematic for him. Man, I love his voice. I did not have the same issues with his style of choice in his acting and whatnot. I thought it was good. I would probably do better with this show. I have liked with Mandalorian and all to wait. The anticipation was a lot of fun with those shows. I might need to see this show all at one time and binge. Maybe I could really get more fired up into it.
Yeah.
I did like this a little bit better than the first couple of episodes. So I'm on the uptick with it a little bit. But you know, it's been harder for me to get into it. I haven't rewatched season 1 again. Too much to do. That might help, but that was my comment from last week. But yeah, I thought it was fair. Fair.
Yeah. Okay, Patrick, I'm sure you loved it. What do you think?
Well, there were parts of it I loved and parts I didn't love as much. The Jonathan Majors accent choice was off-putting, but understandable for the simple fact that he's probably going to end up playing about 20 or 30 different versions of Kang throughout this phase 6 or whatever. So he's going to have to find a way to differentiate between 5, 6, and what have you. so he's going to have. It's kind of like Tatiana Maslany did in Orphan Black, where she had to do different things to be different, and he's going to have to do the same thing for all the different versions of Kang. I really enjoy seeing Loki as a hero now. I mean, it's kind of a good look for him, and I mean that's been kind of a good that's been a neat character arc to watch from the first season, or even go back to Avengers, the first
to the movies.
I mean, terrible, and he was always in the books really horrible. He was because if I'm not mistaken, when you zap him with the death stick, they go to that one planet where all the other Lokis, the variants went, and that's where you saw the one with the big horns.
Yeah.
The classic Loki. And you saw, of course, my favorite, Alligator
Loki.
So, I mean, I'm not sure, seeing Sylvie now is she is obviously the big bad through the series, it feels like, but we know that Jonathan Majors is going to be the big bad. He's going to be the big bad. He's going to be the big bad through lots of properties. So, because he's already been in, Ant-Man Quantumania. And I have a feeling that this is probably going to be a real tough MCU phase for Pam, because it's going to be all about all kinds of time travel and multiverse, which is a wonderful device for Marvel and Disney to reset things. And because actors are going to age out, you can't have Captain America being always in his mid-20s, but that's what he is in the books. He might be in his 30s now, but he's been on the paper since the 50s and the 60s, the golden ages. And so there's got to be a certain timelessness to it, and the best show that does that, of course, is Doctor Who, where they just regenerate, and they've got it built into the storyline that this is how you can regenerate. The Doctor stays eternal, more or less, but you get a new one because he can't just keep getting older and older and older until one day oh crap, the storyline ended and someone got hit in a car wreck or something.
Or it's like the rest of us, he turns his head and my neck.
Yeah. So.
Or there's a contract dispute. It's a great little vehicle for contract disputes.
It is, because you know what, they tell, like, some of these, because David Tennant's a pretty heavyweight actor now. I mean, he's on almost everything, and he is good. If you ever watched any of his PBS or his BBC series that he's done, all of them are top notch. But I'm just saying that's a great way for them to give these actors. They can get good actors in there, great actors in there, and they say, look, we're only having you commit for 3 years. And, and then you can go do other stuff. And that's what they're doing, and so they can get some big names. Jodie Whittaker was a big name. I mean, that's how they've done this. And I think Marvel's heading towards that, where with the multiverse, they can reset things, because all of a sudden you're not dealing with Earth 236 version of Kang. You're dealing with Earth 275 version of Kang. And he looks totally different, but that's okay because it's a different multiverse. And I think they're going.
No, but it would get exhausting. And they're going to get to a point, though, that they are going to wear people out on this. And then it'll be like Chico sticks. I mean, they eat them all the time as kids, and nobody eats them anymore. Way
too many properties at a time, I have a feeling right now. Because when it first came out, you had Iron Man. And then, another year later, you had the first Avengers. You did Thor and Captain America. And I mean, it was a bit of a run there until they ramped up. And now they've got so many different timelines, so many different storylines going, and so different many platforms.
They're not special. I mean, like the last couple of movies haven't been great, and so they gotta figure out a way to, do something with the storytelling.
They've milked it for all they can.
Problem to me with the storytelling,
and that's what it is. And the problem is too that there's only so many. I mean, there's a lot of books that can work from, a lot of history. You look at James Gunn, what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, a minor book, and it's turned into a major property. And it closed itself real nicely because he was going off to go DC and make that horrible looking Aquaman movie, which I'll go see, but it looks really terrible.
And they about to shut all that down too. So, yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is. And I'm enjoying this. Tom Hiddleston is one of those guys who can do a great job at everything. I mean, he's really, really good. And I like Owen Wilson. He's a lovely amount of comedic relief. And of course, seeing Ki Hung Kwan back as Ouroboros fucking delightful. I mean, he's just great. Everything I see him in, I've always enjoyed. Ever since he made it way back into the big time with Everything Everywhere All at Once, was just a tour de force. And here you got him doing it again. So I'm in for it. I mean, is it the best series that they've done for Marvel? No, not really. That, of course, as everybody knows, is She-Hulk. But
that's the worst.
As long as there's She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And
I'm just hoping they don't jump it.
Speaking of, I did hear that they have totally restarted and decided to reshoot Daredevil because they've decided they're seeing the numbers, they're seeing that the way they're trying to tell these stories isn't working good, and they want to go back and redo it because Vincent D'Onofrio has said this, and they're gonna have to wait until, of course, obviously the strike is over, and then you'll have Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and I don't know if they're gonna get the redhead girl back again. I can't remember, Karen Page or whatever her name was. That was the
from
actress.
True Blood.
Yeah, the actress from True Blood.
Yes,
there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and they just need to really kind of
pace it out, maybe a little.
I don't even mind. I don't mind the fact that they got a lot of properties running at the same time. They just need to get some better quality content. And I feel that
they're milking the creativity out of it. That's the biggest thing. They're not giving themselves enough time.
Before, it was time between, so they had time to write good stories.
Well,
now they're doing it so fast, you're not getting the quality of the stories.
The thing is about the stories is the stories are there. They've been there. That's what they did with the beginning. They took a chunk of the Avengers and they took a few pieces out of Captain America and a few pieces out of Thor, and they put these together and they made a great story. And the stories have been there, and the stories are still there. There's still tons of stories out there, but they're just I have a feeling that they're rushing things, and they're trying to make everything so connected so that you have to go see the next movie and you have to go to this, and there's so much of an eye towards that they're missing out on making good as good. It's still good, but it's not great. So
and the biggest thing is
that's the big thing.
The biggest thing to me is too that's if you want to really fully appreciate the movie, you've had to watch the last TV show.
Right.
And now for Star Wars, I would do that, but I think it's a lot because I feel a little, and I know Pam had this kind of frustration with Ahsoka because, she feels like she needs to watch Rebels to really understand.
5 years of Rebels, 7 years of Clone Wars.
Anyway.
Somewhere between always having an origin story.
Yeah.
Where the character becomes the character, and that's not always necessary. And having this great link, they need to find a middle ground.
Yeah, because the links are getting broken. That's the problem for me. These links are getting broken.
That's what they're wanting to do. That's not a flaw in the plan. That is the plan. They're trying to break these links so that they can recast actors, revitalize things. Because Chris Evans, when did Captain America come out? The first one of the Avengers. Shoot, that's been
what
2009,
2011, somewhere in there.
We're coming up on 20 years.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
right around 20.
People want to expand too. I mean, he grew to hate that character pretty much. If you listen kind of to him, he's sick of it, and so
they get typecast, and I get that, that they want to grow out of it, and that's what they should be doing. But and to be honest, that's a good move on Disney's part, but it makes for really rushed and superficial storytelling.
Yeah.
Right. And they gotta do something about it. So it's kind of a mixed review. I think
I liked it, and I'll watch, and I'll keep watching them because
of course. I'll keep watching because you never know. Sometimes these things turn around, and then you're like, man, those first couple of episodes were a slog, but boy, at the end they really brought it together. Yeah. So I'm hoping that 3 weeks from now or whatever, how much longer. I'm like, man, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat my words. But so far, for me. But we'll keep on watching them because we love Marvel stuff here.
Well, we do.
So, yeah. So, okay, we're getting ready for Halloween. So I'm at my vampires. What is your favorite vampire movie? Go, David.
Oh, well, I think I mentioned it kind of at the beginning, a little bit of a spoiler. Shadow of the Vampire, a movie about the making of the first silent movie when German films, and there was a big war that kind of ruined their artistic opportunities. They did that to themselves. But that movie about Dracula, you have the movie, and the name escapes me right now. I hate that. Well, Metropolis. You have that. You have some brilliant, brilliant films. And I just love the whole concept of this. There was some really great writing. We're a show that kind of highlights and talks about the shows and what behind the scenes. The dialogue in Shadow of the Vampire, where they're trying to decide who the vampire gets to eat next. He says, I know I hate to say it, says the director, but you can't eat the writer yet. Yeah. And I thought, or something to that effect. That movie, I think, that's really one of my all-time favorites. Second place would have to be Lou and Abbott, Abbott and Costello.
Oh no!
Beat Dracula and everybody. That would be number 2 on my list.
Oh my gosh, Patrick, what do you think? Favorite vampire movie?
There's not a lot of vampire movies I really loved. I loved the books Interview with the Vampire, and I was so looking forward to that. And some parts of that got it right, but other parts were just bad, and so it really kind of left a bad taste. Like positive versus negative, which is much better, as you know. So really bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. There's none of them just really leap out as anything I like. I got movies with vampires, but they aren't about vampires I love.
Pick a vampire movie.
Dracula with Johnny Depp, or not with Johnny Depp, but with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves.
Okay. Oh yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I do love Gary Oldman and just about everything he does.
God.
He just
and his super campy.
Oh yeah, I mean, because it's a campy role, as you can see from what Nicolas Cage did with it this week. I mean, he is kind of the original abuser, narcissist abuser, but the whole what you want to call it, the way they set that, the costuming, the casting choices were really good. The story was okay, but I did really like Gary Oldman, and Keanu Reeves is just this
terrible.
I mean, he was young, but it was just, and Winona Ryder, just a lot of good stuff going on there. Or you could go with the League of Unfortunate Gentlemen or Unusual Gentlemen, where you have Wilhelmina. I can't remember her last name now.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know that one at all.
There was also Love at First Bite with George Hamilton.
Oh my God. And that was one of my favorites as a kid because of the dance sequence. I love the nightlight. I love the boogie. So, but now, because of a music dispute, they put some random song in. So it's like, oh, yeah. What? Love at First Bite. Yes, it's a mess. My favorite, I have so many because it's my favorite genre. But, well, that one, Love at First Bite, when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, of course, Lost Boys was like all-time favorite. My international favorite was, of course, What We Do with the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows. And I think, I'm trying to think, are they serious? I think one of the scariest, still to this day, I watched it, I think this year, maybe, Salem's Lot.
Yes.
It's still like the scariest. The book is
okay. Are you talking the David Soul one or the more recent one with the guy
David Soul? David Soul, of course.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, the new one is trash. But that one was so scary, and the ending was so terrifying. That is Stephen King at his best.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
So if you definitely want to, and the book was super scary too. Yeah. So I couldn't even sleep for days after reading. I had a night light on afterwards. So definitely Salem's Lot is like the best of the scariest of the vampire series. So next week we'll have more with we have a lot. The Blackening. We're going to review, as well as Haunted Mansion. It didn't seem like it'd been that long, but Disney already has a remake. So we're going to check that out. And the Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, a series. Each episode is around the Edgar Allan Poe story. Really interesting take on the classic. And of course, the next episode of Loki, which we're hoping turns a corner. All right, that does it for us this week. David, why don't you say good night to the people?
So long, everybody. Have a great week and enjoy some fun times in between your job and watch some great shows.
Patrick, say good night to the people on this spooky night.
Well, it is the 21st, which means we are 10 days out from Halloween. So it's probably about time for all of you to go out and buy another couple bags of candy because you have probably already eaten the candy you already bought.
Yeah.
So get back out there and get some candy. Everybody have a good Halloween and check your blood sugar so you don't go in a diabetic coma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm going to have my witch's brew. And say, have a great week. And we will see you next time on Pajama Life. Take care. Bye.